Hi, I'm Sarah McAleer and welcome to this week's Mentorsmith Tips. So today I'm visiting Marianne Kennerly, who is the director of Boom Studios, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that, and we're in Bangor in Northern Ireland.
So I'm Marianne Kennerly and I'm one of the original co-founders of Boom Studio and I'm now the director. We offer studio spaces for artists, creative people, designers, makers, anybody really that can sort of show us a creative practice to work. And we also want to support them in the work that they're doing as well. So we work under the tagline of providing workspace and headspace for our local creative industry.
Right, so our touch points, well, we've already discussed a couple of touch points, haven't we? We've discussed about or how we could meet people one-to-one, which is really the best one because you're going to build a relationship. And we've talked about that you might be able to reach them one-to-one at an event that you're doing, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then we've talked a wee bit about social media. So what are some of the other touch points that we have on our list?
Well, the other side of events, I suppose, is quite interesting as well, as whenever you're actually delivering events. So we would do a lot of that here, and they're events of different scales. So we have ones that are weekly, which are workshops and things like that, and then there's more one-off bigger events that we might be commissioned to work on, or somewhere in between there as well, where there's things happening. But it's I think to kind of take the leap and to put an event on, and that could be, it doesn't have to be hundreds of people coming through your door. It can just be an opportunity for your door to be open.
Yes.
For example, this Thursday night we're doing late night studios.
Yeah.
So first Thursday of the month, we want to get that into people's head that actually Boom's going to be open late and our artists will be here. So we don't know what that's going to develop into. It could develop into some type of regular selling, craft fair sort of event. Or it could be where that's when you come and meet the maker and see what they do. It's very fluid. We're not putting a bracket around it yet to say exactly what it is. But it's time bound, it's going to be delivered on that date.
Yes.
And you can be quite specific in targeting people and inviting them in.
That's a good idea.
But that could be, Louise is asking about raising publicity. That could be come and try. We're going to do a life drawing session somewhere else. We're going to do it in the middle of Ward Park.
Yeah.
And you can come and just have a go.
Yeah.
Now it's low, of course there's a time cost to that, but actually you'll get people in and you will get them talking about, what you're doing and raising awareness. There's a great local business actually called Tribal Fitness.
Oh, yeah.
You should probably know of. And what I love about Tribal Fitness is they sell clothing.
Okay.
So their tribe are all kitted out in luminous pink.
Yeah.
Tribal Fitness kits.
Yeah.
And you see them.
Yeah.
You see them out and about doing that, and I think there's something quite clever in that actually, you're making them themselves even more visible. They could be hiding away in a leisure centre.
Yes, but they're not.
No.
They're out. And also, I suppose that comes down to almost their branding.
Yeah.
Because they've got specific colours as well, where people start to see the 6 to 8 passes. So maybe you see the colour pink 6 times, and that starts to ingrain it in your head. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's, I think the idea of putting on an event can be quite daunting.
Yes.
But you can make that fit for you.
Yes.
What could I do? What would I feel comfortable doing? Rather than having to put too much pressure on yourself.
Or even, to do events that cost you a lot of money, then you're maybe out money and maybe it doesn't go very well and then you feel bad. So in what you're saying, you're also asking the artists who are part of your studio setup that they also have to be invested in it. If they want to make a success of that, then they've got to do their own promotion as well to get other people to come in. And again, that's all networking and meeting people face to face, but that you're starting that. It's easier. They're not doing it on their own, they're doing that as a collective.
And what would be fab to happen actually is that you start to see other complementary things happening alongside it, and there's a natural swell then and a natural growth that can happen, and all of those different audiences will then cross over, and then your audience will grow, as will the other audiences around you as well, so it becomes interesting then.
So if you're not part of a studio setup, you could look at how to get involved with community projects, because that's really what Boom is all about. It's about serving the community. And you know, I'm a great believer in local business. You know, as I said, we put so much emphasis on social media. Oh, we need, you know, all these followers and blah 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 blah. But actually, how can you sustain what you do locally? You know, and sometimes we don't look at that. Now, our market isn't always local, but there will be something local.
I think that's where you get your confidence from. Yeah, it's what's local, and you know, whether it, you know, and it's about that little kind of growth. Somebody used the word murmur, actually, which I quite like.
Or like a ripple effect or something. Yeah.
But you start with who's on your doorstep. Yeah. And you start with who you know. Yeah. And especially Northern Ireland.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I mean, sometimes I even tell people that we forget we carry these around with us every day, and I bet you, I mean, we all have a contact list in here, and I bet you, if you really thought about it, you've got some clients in there, and you forget that you've got them in there, and they may be friends and family, it doesn't matter, but I bet you in your phone or your iPad or whatever, you have got contact details of someone who has already invested in you and your art practice, and or talked to you, and you could be communicating with them. And
because what you have to remember is your art, whatever it is you do, is hanging in somebody's house. So all of the people that are coming in, you know, are seeing that.
Yes, and certainly for me over the years, my biggest client base has come from referrals, where, you know, someone's been out wearing a piece of mine and someone has said to them, oh, that's a lovely piece, where did you get it? And they've said, well, Sarah McAleer made that. And I would say to this day that my real true fan base or audience or tribe, whatever you want to call them, my real clients who stayed with me a long time, that's how they found me. Because when they come to me with a referral, there is already an element of trust.
It's meaningful.
It's meaningful, and they know, they don't always know what to expect, but they've seen what you've done. They're already invested. You know, they wouldn't come to you if you didn't like your work. So you already know that if they've come as a referral, that they genuinely like what you're doing and they want to know, well, what can you do for them? I think that's still our real face-to-face.
And what we're seeing in Boom, to kind of flip it into providing a service, is actually people are coming in for one thing and then going on to another. You know, so for example, the life drawing classes. We've got a group of people that are coming to that on a regular basis. That we've just advertised 2 studios, and there's people feeding from that group into this, taking on the studios. So it all connects, you know. And then you have other people going, oh, well, my sister's just had a baby, she'd love to come to the toddler, you know, the art session.
Yes, exactly.
So it starts to, you know, build momentum in itself, and starts to feed itself as well, and that starts becoming really interesting then.
I mean, I would say that I can trace my first set of maybe 10 clients back to 2 women.
Brilliant.
You know, Brilliant. And one of those was a family, one of those was my godmother. And, you know, at the start I thought, oh, maybe that isn't really worthy of a sale because she's a family member. But through her, I got a certain set. I think there was about 5 ladies all came to me within a few months. And I'm talking like 15 years ago, maybe more. And they were all of a certain group. So there was a lot of teachers there, and because that's where that interaction was. And then I had another lady who was in the medical profession, who again is kind of a family member, but wasn't really. And through her, I got another set of women who were all then in medical. And there was these 2, and then they, you know, Northern Ireland, some of them knew each other anyway. and that spawned another set of women. And occasionally their husbands who would then come. So
within those 2 women, you got 2 of your 8 passes in,
well, yes.
because they heard your name twice.
Yes, exactly. And that was all from referrals. That was from, you know, the first lady, my godmother, she wore a piece to like an evening do, where the other lady was sitting beside her, and that's how that conversation started. And both of them are long-term clients. I mean, they've both got, you know, many pieces. So
I'm just, what's flashing into my head is whenever you see artists with, you're talking about wearing your jewellery and wearing it out about, and people, you know, people say it because they're wearing it. So what does that look like for somebody who doesn't make jewellery or somebody who doesn't make clothing?
That's
and I've
interesting.
seen, yeah, and I mean, even things like the canvas printed bags.
Yes.
Or the phone covers.
Yes.
Or mugs.
Yes.
Mugs are popular locally at the moment, and even placing them quite cleverly or with certain people, or do you know what I mean? You could be quite tactful.
Yes.
Couldn't you?
Yes, it's all that. Well, again, that's kind of, I mean, I don't really like to use the word brand because as an artist,
yeah,
you know, well, we are our brand.
It is,
but it's that imagery.
It's using images that you create.
Yes, it's your handwriting.
To provoke conversations.
Yes, exactly. And how else can we use that? And can we be cleverer at what we do as well?
Thanks for listening, and thanks for joining us this morning, and hopefully there'll be more of these short videos and interviews coming soon.